Okay, I'm sorry to give you so much information and trying to cut it in 10 minutes. Now then, this wonderful Trinity. Dante in the Divine Comedy is taken through. He goes through the hell of Inferno. He goes through the realization. The Catholic Church have some interesting things to tell us. In Purgatorio, it isn't a miserable pain, but there is such a thing as karma, which was taken out of the New Testament. Everything comes round. Everything comes round. I feel strongly that it would be madness if we could just think that we can do what we like down here on this difficult planet and then just toddle off and say, oh, sorry guys, without having to greet and meet what we have made. My granny used to say, everything that goes round comes round, darling. So, more of that later, not on this website, I think. But Dante gets to the wonderful release, that is Paradiso, with his beloved Beatrice. And in Paradiso, he comes through the Trinity. Now, the Medici were very, very clever. This has not come out before. It's come out in bits. It's really, really important and serious to look at this. I want to tell you that the Lippi painting at that altar, which is the place that the initiates came to through their journey, and they stood in that chapel on a wonderful stone. More of that in a moment. They stood before the altar of the Trinity. So in their mind's eye, I guess, in their meditation, they were asking to come to a higher level of frequency, to a higher level of meditation. Now the entrance of this chapel, above this entrance to the chapel, there is something that says, "Do not come here, O profane crowd." It sounds rather rude, but it says, this journey is not for the faint-hearted, and believe me, it's not. To deal with high-frequency energy is very hard, and one has to be very well grounded in love without any negative attitudes to anyone. Now, the interesting thing, there are consequences. There are consequences, yes. Purgatorio. Now, that painting is filled, we'd love to have the art people here. We really would. Graham Dixon thingy, it's gone out of my head. Anyway, the triangles all work together in that painting. And it is of the Christ child, it is of Mary, the mother of the Christ. It is overseen at the top by the Father and the great eagle of St. John. It has St. Bernard above this little picture, portrait of the Christ family, of Yeshua's family. It has Bernard, St. Bernard, who brought the baton of the Templars, and he is the patron saint of Florence, and it is the great baton of fighting for love before things go wrong. Don't want to go into the Crusades here. And it has St. John the Baptist there too. St. John, I think, is also in there as a patron saint of Florence, I think. It has a history, because that Lippi painting was stolen by the Nazis during the Second World War. And if you've seen the fabulous film called The Monuments Men, you will know that those paintings were found in a was it a salt mine after the war, at the very last seconds of the war. And you will see wonderful George Clooney explaining to us how dangerous it was to get those paintings out. And this Lippi painting was stolen, and it was in there, and it's now in a museum in Berlin. Now beneath that, we're at the high altar, it's tiny, more about that in a while, but there was a marble stone there of striated, I don't know how to say it, maremma, marble. And Signora Accidini, Signora Dottore Accidini, when she did that renovation, said that she couldn't understand that altar stone, which these men stood on. And on that altar stone, there is a word in the Mugello dialect. It's a part of Florence. It's a dialect, an old dialect. And the word on it means to rise up. And Signora Accidini said at that time of her writing, I don't know what she would say now, she said she couldn't understand what this meant. Well, that is in perfect order for me, because this is a chapel of ascension. It is a chapel of consciousness, of going up, to go up, scendere, to come down, to go up. They are not coming down, they are going up. And they went up in their meditation, in their focus, so that they could bring down information and symbols about the process of consciousness. And in that dialogue they had with the divine, which some people, or with love I prefer, which some people are having now, they're able to get into these places again, not with, opium. I'm going to tell you in a little while a little bit about the Romantic poets, and then about the Rossettis and the Pre-Raphaelite people, who unfortunately were still using the opiates to get high, but they were trying to get into this magnificent realm of consciousness, which is really complicated and difficult and requires work and discipline in learning. And for me it feels like driving a massive car, high-octane car, and along a road where somebody's put, hats or bags on all the signposts and you just really don't know quite how or where you're going, but you have to keep going. And this is where the Medici were. They were going up to bring down all the joyous things that they brought to us with the Renaissance. Thank you.